you guys, it's me, Kiana, coming at you again. I've already taken my pie crust out of the oven, and I told you guys to bake this so that it doesn't be soggy and uncooked at the bottom of your pie pie. That's one of the tricks that I use. Hopefully you'll incorporate that into making this homemade pie pie dish. It's, it's soft, but it's not soft to the point where it's doughy. Basically, it's probably, you would consider this the state that when you have undercooked pie pie, that's what it's like right now, okay? But again, we're gonna bake this again in the oven for probably about 25, 30 minutes, okay? Maybe 35 minutes. So it's gonna cook thoroughly at that point, okay? But you wanted to give it a head start basically, so that when you add your gravy and your chicken and the vegetables, it doesn't have a uncooked bottom. Now, I do like it to be soft somewhat. It's not supposed to be hard because it's pie pie at the bottom. But I don't want it to be doughy. It's a difference, okay? So I baked this, like I said, for about 5 minutes. And what I did was use my time wisely, and you should as well, ladies. Just go ahead and clean up your dishes or whatever that you cook this pie pie in, as far as the boiling and all that kind of stuff, or the sauteing. Just go ahead and wash those up while you're doing this. That way, you'll have less to do once it's already done or whatever. Okay? Now we're at the stage where we're going to add the vegetable and chicken and gravy. We're going to add all of that. And we added some sauteed celery and onion. You don't want to add a lot. I only added one for this whole dish, one onion, so that's hardly nothing. I added some extra potatoes because potatoes is that's just one of the favorites when you fix some pie pie. And I added 2 stalks of celery split down the middle, which made 4 stalks. I showed you in part 1 and 2 how to make this homemade gravy by using that flavorful stock that you boil those chicken thighs in. I also showed you how to get rid of the bristles, the bone, the fat, all of that you don't want in your chicken. In your chicken pie pie. I got rid of all that, and I showed you the previous 2 videos. So hopefully that's helpful. Now we're going to go ahead and start layering. And as I told you, you don't want your gravy to be too thin, you don't want it to be too thick. The reason why is because once it gets in the oven, the temperature is going to rise, and your gravy had flour in it. And we all know once you add flour in temperature, heat, it creates thicker gravy. So it's going to bake in the oven even further. So you don't want it to be too runny, but you don't want it to be extra thick, because then you'll wind up with a dry pie pie. And that's almost worse than a doughy pie pie. I also told you what seasonings to use, so make sure you just go back on those other 2 videos. That way I won't have to repeat myself. I'll go ahead again, making sure I have less time of cleanup. I will go ahead and clean this while this is baking in the oven. And as you can see, this definitely can feed up to 6 people. This vegetable's already in here. It's a deal, one dish deal where you don't have to add anything else to it. It has your bread, it has your vegetable. You don't have to add anything else. Now, a lot of people fix this with biscuits on top. You can do that, but I like to keep it true to what it is, and it's authentic. to my grandmother as possible. She used to roll the dough and all that for this, but I'm not going to do that tonight. I'm showing you guys for instructional purposes how to fix as close to homemade pot pie as possible. And this dish, as all my dishes, is definitely $10 under. You can use about 6 chicken thighs, and believe it or not, that will feed everybody. You've seen how much chicken thighs I had, how much meat was in there, and that was about 6 or 7 chicken thighs. Now, what you want to do is, when you lay this dough, I'm going to show you how to pinch it around the edges to make it look pretty. And you also want to go over top of this dough with an egg wash, because that just helps the browning process. And it's just pleasing to the eye. Okay. You're going to make sure that the edges is overlapping somewhat the sides, because we are going to pinch it, and I'm going to show you how to do it now. You're going to take your finger and then pinch. Take your finger and squeeze together. Take your finger and squeeze together. Take your finger and squeeze together. You're going to do that all around the perimeter. Take your finger, squeeze together. Take your finger and squeeze. And that's that pinch that you get. Take 2 fingers, squeeze. 2 fingers, squeeze. Okay? And you can do this to all your pies. This is the traditional way of pinching a pie. Almost finished with the pinching around the perimeter. And my chicken was, if you want the breakdown for how much it cost, the canned vegetables was $2 for $1. The celery I probably used about, being that it was $1 and I used 2 stalks only, let's say 30 cents. So that's $1.30. The pie crust I got was a coupon, but it was on sale. So I saved for 2 of those pie crust packages, I paid $2. So now we're up to $3.30. The chicken was $4 at the best. I think it was 3 something, but let's say 4. So now we're up to what? $7.30. The gravy was homemade, and I did use a can of potatoes, probably about 50 cents, $2 for $1 for a can of potatoes, or what's equivalent to 3 or 4 small potatoes. Well, so we're up to what, $7.90, $7.80, and that's it. So you can feed all of this for a family of 6, up to 6. You can put 4 to 6 people in this, and we paid under $8. So just showing you guys that if you follow my recipe, and also look for sales, and make sure you watch my couponing videos and things like that. Also my market hauls, I'll show you what markets to go to, how to incorporate those coupons, and also how to incorporate these meals with using the stuff that you buy in bulk on the sale, and create wonderful, delicious home, down home memories and cooking for your family. So, and you'll do so on a budget. So you're going to bake this in the oven for until it gets brown. I don't know how long that takes because everybody's temperature of their oven is different. I'm doing mine on about 375, and I'm probably just going to bake it for probably about a half an hour. But again, I'm going to see because I'm going to check on it periodically. So that's it. Make sure you do the egg wash on top, like I said, because that just makes sure that it browns perfectly. And the egg wash that you do is just simply do an egg and then just take a baking brush and just go over top of it. Or you can take your 2 fingers and just pat your fingers in the egg and then just go over top of it like that. Okay? Alrighty, you guys. I'll show you the end result once it's completed. Thank you all for viewing, commenting, subscribing, and be blessed.